Welcome to the show. Over 50, so what? Fun, fitness, wellness, and inspiration. I'm Carol. Now for the wellness part today, we're going to have a chat to David from On the Lowdown. And we're going to talk about what do you do if you're not feeling very good. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, I think I might be a bit depressed. Or you may be thinking, I'm anxious a lot of the time. What do I do? This segment's going to be particularly good for any blokes watching today. Then for the fun part, we're going to get on our feet and we're going to do some fun moving to music. Then for the ladies, or maybe for any men who want to treat their lady, we meet Marina from Marinella. She is passionate about styling the more mature woman and giving them their own unique look, even if you're in your 90s. Enjoy the show. Today on the show we meet David Pearce, who after facing his own mental health challenges, launched On the Lowdown. He works with community and government organisations to provide products and services to help us all with our mental health. Hi David, welcome to Over 50 So What? Great to have you on the show. So how did you come up with the name On the Lowdown?
Yeah, well, I guess I don't mind a bit of the double entendre. So, on the lowdown, it's about communicating some important information. Also, term on the lowdown, it's not like you're shouting it out from the mountaintops. It's might be something that is you need to communicate with a degree of, you got to be careful with what you say. It's an important topic. And then, of course, just feeling low and feeling down. So that's where we got the name.
Well, that sounds like you're doing some amazing work in the community. So if we are being observant and we are, stepping back and looking at ourselves, what if we think, that we might be experiencing some anxiety or depression? We sort of think, maybe I'm suffering from depression or anxiety. What's the next step to do? Or how do you recognize those things in yourself or in other people?
For starters, I'm not a psychologist or a counselor or a psychiatrist or anything like that. So it's really important that I make that very clear. But I'm also very much a scientist, and what I do know is that anxiety and depression, the symptoms can manifest in myriad different ways, and so there's no, some people don't sleep, other people need a lot of sleep and can't get out of bed. Some people eat extraordinary amounts of food, other people completely lose their appetite and lose a lot of weight or something like that. It manifests itself in different ways in me. I think you need to check in with yourself. Like, one thing that I've never found particularly difficult to understand about myself is when I am suffering, I find it pretty easy. It's like, I don't feel good right now. Okay, so as a man, is that where that conversation with yourself stops? Oh, this is shit. I feel crap. Life's shit. Is that it? Is that as far as you go? Because it shouldn't be. There's next steps that you've got to take. It's like, okay, so what is it exactly that you're feeling? Can you give that emotion a name beyond just feeling shit or angry or whatever it is? Do you feel lonely? Do you feel like really tired, or are you feeling a lot of grief? Or, let's get a bit granular here. Let's get a little bit specific. And then when we start to get specific, then we can start to sort of maybe deal with things a little bit more easily ourselves, for sure. Like, if you're feeling lonely, the answer's pretty obvious, isn't it? Like, call someone, join a group, do something, make a change. Like, if there's one thing that I've learned from interviewing all these wonderful high performers through Here for Each Other, and we all talk about mental health. That's what we're speaking about the whole time. is there's this really common thread of responsibility, of taking responsibility for ourselves and not letting things go unchecked. So a great example, there's this wonderful woman, I can't remember her name, but she runs this organization, Are You Bogged, Mate? I love it. It's talks, and she's got this wicked metaphor, which is about tractors. And she says, so, if your tractor stops working, if your tractor claps out or starts to sound like it's going to clap out, what are you going to do? You're just going to leave it, and not attend to it? Well, of course you're going to attend to your tractor if you're a farmer. Like, your tractor is really, really important, and the rest of the farm's just going to fall apart. Well, what's more important than your tractor? Like, you're the most important person that you have. You're the most important asset that you have, full stop. And if you don't go and seek assistance and go and seek help and externalize some of the stuff that is flying around in your head, then things aren't going to end well. Like, don't let these stupid cultural barriers that are preventing some of us men from going out and seeking help, like, oh, it's going to make me less of a man or something like that. It's really important to acknowledge that these cultural barriers do exist, but deconstruct them. Like, we can be more than that. We can be we are much more than that. We know that this she'll be right, mate. It's appropriate at sometimes to say she'll be right. Like, if you're a farmer and you're working on the land, you skin your shin, like you've got cows running around in the wrong paddock or something, you've got to suck it up and do it by yourself, right? For a little bit. Oh, damn it. Well, she'll be right. I'll sort it out. But if we're talking about what's, like what I was going through back in the day, and I still struggle with stuff, for sure I do. And I have to constantly take inventories of where I'm at. Am I seeing enough people? Am I doing the right things? All that kind of stuff. But it's about, you got to turn around and deal with it yourself. You have to.
So if you are feeling like you're too ashamed to talk about it, you don't feel like, it's acceptable for a man to talk about this sort of stuff, what do you recommend?
Shame is a really big barrier for men to seek help. I think you need to rise above it. I think think about it objectively. If you've seeking help, I mean, we can talk about people who bleat on and complain as a separate issue, which is an issue. There are those people out there who just absorb everybody's time and energy. That's a different thing. That's not what we're talking about right here. We're talking about, if you are struggling, like if you're the tractor, right, you need to get fixed, then you're making yourself stronger and better by seeking help, aren't you? You're not like, you're becoming a bigger person. And like, this is a real issue for men these days, where we don't tend to seek help. We do. Some of us do, for sure. It's, it's not all doom and gloom, and we're figuring it out too, which is a wonderful thing. But a lot of us, we do it less than women. And women are having better health outcomes in this, well, particularly in the space of suicide, for sure, which is obviously one of the absolute worst things that can happen to a community if people go and decide to end their own lives. And so, like, there is a fair degree of self-responsibility there. I know it's not really a very delicate answer, and I'd like to say something else, but look at the situation objectively. It's not going to make you less of a person to go out and access resources. It makes you more of a person, and it's a demonstration of leadership. And your community, even if some guy down the road you think won't appreciate it, your community in aggregate will appreciate it. It's a good thing to do. You got to do it.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing those great things with us, and also make those great points when it comes to men and their attitudes towards talking about things and how to cope with things. So that's going to be really, really valuable.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Carol. And as I said before, I really appreciate coming on, and congratulations on the wonderful work that you're doing. It's a real honor to be on your show.
Thanks. Thanks for watching our TV show. Be sure to hit subscribe and then you'll never miss an episode. Jump on Facebook, join our group, get in on the fun, fitness, wellness and inspiration. I'm Carol, over 50. So what?